my, oh my, oh my. Dodgers may never be allowed back in Canada. What's up, everybody? I'm Jim Rodriguez. Welcome to the Tuesday here on Dodgers Latest. And the Dodgers, man. An absolute throttling of the Blue Jays last night. And those blue shirts, they may never want to wear anything else. You can hit me up right here, Instagram and on X at JRodShow. Man, the champs are feeling themselves these days. And of course, you can always like us, subscribe, share, thumbs up right here on the YouTube page. Make the algorithm do its thing. And you can always hit me up on X and on Instagram at JRodShow. Yeah, man, Dodgers, I mean, it has been a remarkable turnaround so far from that first homestand, those first 6 games on the road, where the Dodgers scored 23 runs in 6 games, and they have exploded on this 4-game trip so far, sweeping the Nationals and the first one in Toronto. Dodgers scoring 45 runs in these first 4 road games, 14 home runs. Dodgers are leading the majors in home runs with 21. They lead the majors in team batting average, nearly hitting 300 as a team, 299. They're 8-2 and look very much like the defending 2-time world champions. And then a return to Toronto, the scene of the crime. And boy, did you see who got those last 3 outs in Toronto? I'm not saying Dave Roberts was petty. I'm not saying he was rubbing it in. But Miguel Rojas coming in the 9th in a 14-1 lead for the Dodgers to get those last 3 outs. You cold, Dave Roberts. You cold. Well, let's break it on down here on Dodgers Latest. And let's start with the blue shirts. We talked about it on Friday that the Dodgers, for opening day, their first road game of the year, the Dodgers wore some blue shirts with Los Angeles in script in white across the chest with the red numbers. It was the first time in franchise history that they had worn blue shirts on the road. Well, in that game against the Nationals, they scored 13 runs, had 16 hits, and hit 5 home runs. Well, they went back to the traditional grays on Saturday and Sunday, won those games as well. And then the opener, the World Series rematch in Toronto Monday night, Dodgers put on the blue shirts, 14 more runs, 17 hits, and 5 more home runs wearing the blue shirts. So that's a total of 2 games with those blue shirts, 27 runs, 33 hits, 10 home runs. I mean, talk about marketing. Talking about, I bought a shirt. Everybody's going to buy a shirt now. I mean, they should never wear anything else the way they are hitting. I know baseball is a superstitious sport, but man, Dodgers have just absolutely erupted. And of course, what can you say about that offense? And it's kind of, not, I don't want to say hidden, some bad starting pitching, but this is the back half of the starting rotation. Emmett Sheehan didn't pitch all that great on Friday, got the win. Sasaki pitched pretty bad, and they bailed him out after getting down 6-1. And Justin Robleski, pitched okay, got his 5 innings, and kind of, he's going to be that spot starter guy. Robleski pitching well as well, as the Dodgers erupted for all those runs. Dodgers get back now to the traditional sort of aces. Yamamoto and Ohtani will pitch the next 2 nights. But man, the offense has been the absolute talk of baseball. And by the way, did you see Hae-Sun Kim come back to the major leagues? And the game he had on Monday night in Toronto, had a couple of hits and made an unbelievable Willie Mays over-the-shoulder catch out in shallow left center field. I mean, it all came up aces for the Dodgers on Monday night. And yeah, when you look back at that offense, yeah, O Canada. The Dodgers put the O in O Canada. An absolutely dominant return to Toronto. And the Blue Jays, now they are scuffling, right? Max Scherzer left the game early. Alejandro Kirk's got to have thumb surgery. Trey Savage is in the minor leagues. They are just scuffling. So, hey, man, you play the schedule who you play, so you don't feel sorry for the Blue Jays. And the Dodgers absolutely leveled them in their home yard. Dodgers have now won, if you go back to the World Series, 4 straight games at Rogers Center. Remember, the Dodgers won 3 of the 4 World Series games on the road in Toronto. Tell you what, they're not going to let them back in again. But let's break down this 14-2 romp for the Dodgers, and let's start with, Teoscar Hernandez, who started off the day with a home run. Had a bunch of RBIs. Shohei Ohtani once again gets on base, continues his on base streak. He hit his 3rd home run of this road trip. He had 3 hits in 6 games at Dodger Stadium. 3 hits, all singles, and has hit his 3rd home run of this road trip. Freddie Freeman had a homer, knocked in 3 runs, and of course Andy Pages, looking very much as an early MVP candidate. 2 more hits for 18 hits now during the regular season, hitting .474. He's leading the majors in batting average at .474, and those 2 hits leads the majors in hits as well with 18. So, man, an absolute gem of a game for the Dodgers wearing those blue shirts. And probably the one guy I wanted to highlight a little bit more is Dalton Rushing. A 4-hit game for the kid, 2 home runs, and he actually started behind the plate on Sunday, hit a home run, got back-to-back starts, and of course, I immediately started getting texts, hey, what's up with Will Smith? Is Will Smith hurt? Do we have a catching controversy? No, none of that. It was essentially a way to get Will Smith, I'm sure he didn't like it, to get him a couple of days off, and at the same time, the Dodgers wanted Will Smith to be behind the plate for Yamamoto and for Ohtani. So it was a good way to get him off his feet. He came into that wild comeback win on Sunday anyway, ended up catching an inning or so on Sunday. So it's not like he didn't play. Gave him another rest, gave Rushing more at-bats, back-to-back starts. And we talked about that was going to be one of the things that I wanted to keep an eye on about Dalton Rushing is, he did not play well turning from an everyday player in the minor leagues, one of the Dodgers' top prospects in all the minor leagues, to then getting called up and then having to sit, playing essentially once a week, couple days a week, backing up Will Smith. Seems like he's adjusted to it. Hit a home run Sunday, hit 2 home runs Monday. Now he will sit at least for the next couple of days as Will Smith will get behind the plate. But good to see Dalton Rushing kind of turn the chip and actually show the Dodgers, it's all about maturing. It's all about getting used to your role, keeping yourself ready, and then actually performing when you get the opportunity. It ain't easy being a backup catcher, but it's a super important job, and good to see Dalton Rushing doing it. With those 2 home runs games and a 4-hit night for him. So all in all, Dodgers 8-2, 4 straight wins. They're 4-0 on the road. And again, 45 runs, 14 homers in the last 4 games. Dodgers have absolutely crushed it. And of course, now they get Yamamoto to take the mound on Tuesday night. Tonight, he'll draw Kevin Gausman. And then on Wednesday, the finale of the series in Toronto, Shohei Ohtani takes the mound. Remember, Shohei has a 22 2/3 scoreless inning streak as a pitcher going back to last year. And he's reached base in 38, 39 consecutive games as a batter. So it never stops with Shohei Ohtani, and it never stops with you guys as you are part of the show. You're the very best part of Dodgers Latest. We always invite you to like, subscribe, share, hit the thumbs up button, and of course, be part of the show. And one of the things you guys talked about is Roki Sasaki. I've said it. I've not been shy about it. Roki Sasaki does not deserve to be on this team right now. He is completely broken. I've read that term. And, I think Joe's trying to be nice. I think Roki just needs more game time to get used to the nerves. I think there's moments when he looks relaxed and locked in, but then a pitch doesn't go his way, and that doesn't go the way he wants and gets flustered, upset, and that's what's affecting him. Hopefully he can get his emotions under control sooner than later and become the pitcher everybody expected. Yeah, listen, I agree. Everything you said, Joe Schmo, I absolutely agree. But why is this happening on the major league level? Especially when you've got a guy like River Ryan, and I understand the politics of it. I understand, River Ryan's coming off the shoulder surgery, coming off surgery. You don't want to rush him. He's never pitched over 100 innings in a professional career, so you don't want to waste those bullets. You call him up later in the year, to get more major league time. I understand that stuff, but it's a little frustrating to see a guy that the Dodgers have obviously invested in Roki Sasaki, and again, the transition ain't easy from Japan to the big leagues. Yamamoto struggled his first year a little bit. Not as bad as Sasaki, of course, but obviously Yamamoto blossomed last year. Turned out to be the ace of the team, World Series MVP. And again, we saw the brilliance of Roki Sasaki in the postseason. That's why, to me, I almost think that maybe he is not a starter. He is a relief pitcher. We saw it with Eric Gagne. For those old school Dodger fans, remember Eric Gagne? He was a failed starter. They brought him into the bullpen and became one of the great closers of all time. Had one of the great seasons of all time. So I don't think that Roki Sasaki doesn't belong on this team. He doesn't belong on this team as a starter, but the Dodgers are going to go full bore with him. And again, when you're down 6-1 and you come back and you score 45 runs in 4 games, it forgives a lot, and it's a great deodorizer in terms of forgiving things and forgiving not exactly great pitching performances. And more about the offense. The offense outburst is exactly what I expected from the Dodgers. They're still figuring things out early, injuries, etc. When they reach their ceiling, it's going to be scary for the opposition. The only thing that'll stop a three-peat is injuries. Yeah. Well, we've already seen the first major one with Mookie Betts out, for at least 10 days, maybe a couple of weeks with that oblique strain. And yeah, man, I'll tell you what, it's already looking scary. If I'm major league pitchers, I'm already thinking to myself, my God, this team, is starting to really come to fruition. Teoscar Hernandez has been rejuvenated. Freddie Freeman's looking great. Pages is a new man, and then all the other casting characters are doing well, and we're not even talking about the unicorn and Shohei Ohtani yet. So the Dodgers absolutely going to town. Maybe they have found their mojo, and we talked about this. That maybe the best thing for this team was getting out of Los Angeles. I mean, granted, the homestand was still a success, right? They won 4 out of 6 games. They swept the Diamondbacks, but you almost wonder, even for a team that's gone back-to-back world championships, right? You almost wonder, hey man, there's baseball players are such creatures of habit. You know what I mean? You get to the ballpark and there's a ceremony. It's opening day, the banner, and then the next day it's the rings, and the next day it's this, and the next day it's that. And you almost wonder, hey man, let's get out of town. Let's be together. We're a unit. We're in the hotel. Distractions are a minimum on the road, and you can just get down to business. And to me, it's no coincidence that the Dodgers have erupted for these 45 runs, 14 homers in the first 4 games of this 6-game road trip. And there's two more games left in Toronto tonight and tomorrow. Thursday's a day off, and the Dodgers bring that offense back to Dodger Stadium starting Friday. 3-game series with the Texas Rangers, and then a 3-game series with the New York Mets. And, of course, we always invite you to be part of the show. And remember to hit us up on X and on Instagram right there at JRod Show. Be part of the show. Remember to like, subscribe, share here on the YouTube page. Viewer count's going up, subscriber count's going up, and that is because of you. So Yamamoto is back on the mound, and we talked about maybe, again, I'm not saying it's petty. I'm not saying it was sort of a mean thing. But for Miguel Rojas, the World Series hero, public enemy number 1 in Toronto, to come in the 9th inning, and he could, because obviously that's the rule in baseball. When there's a big blowout, whether you're ahead or behind, you can bring in a position player to pitch. And of course, that's usually with Kike Hernandez. But for Miguel Rojas to get those last 3 outs in Toronto on the mound, burn. Well, it'll be Yamamoto, the World Series MVP, on the mound tonight. He'll draw Kevin Gausman. Of course, we'll break it down for you tomorrow here on Dodgers Latest. I'm Jim Rodriguez. Get some rest, boys. Save some runs for tonight. we'll see what's going on. And listen, blue shirts, gray shirts, white shirts, it's always time for Dodger baseball.